Okay folks, if you see my videos, you'll know that I'm usually fairly restrained. But today, I'm going to briefly explore the dark side. Like Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil, I've stared too long into the X-abyss, and it has gazed back into me. As a result of this, today I am most definitely the unreasonable Clerith. Expect spicy language, spicier takes, and the faint perfume of performative indignation. When people talk about Final Fantasy VII, they usually go straight to the big stuff. The world, the villains, the music, the themes of identity, and so on and so forth. But inevitably, usually after a passive-aggressive Reddit thread or two, someone brings up the romance. And that's when things get stupid. Suddenly fans start announcing canon couples, with the confidence of a man who's just discovered a plastic sword in his garage and now thinks he's bloody King Arthur. They talk about winning and losing ships like romance is a football match and not, say, an intensely subjective emotional journey. So today I want to take some of this idiocy to task. This is about dispelling some persistent falsehoods surrounding FF7's romance, largely propagated by old frustrated hags, jobless incels, and wannabe models looking to capitalise on FF7's legions of stans. Yes, I'm separating fact from fiction, concrete from conjecture, knowledge from nonsense, and subscribers from my channel. Let's address Final Fantasy VII's 7 romantic falsehoods. Number 1. The love triangle doesn't exist. This point would be absolutely true were it not complete bollocks. FF7 is structurally, narratively, and mechanically a love triangle.
What?
From the original 1997 release onward, Cloud's emotional arc is shaped by 2 women who have distinct intentional romantic framing, serve different emotional functions in his life, are placed in narrative contrast with each other, compete for his attention, have specific scenes to showcase reactions to love triangle themed moments. These dynamics are not accidental. The devs want the player to enjoy having 2 beautiful but different women inexplicably thirst after them, despite them acting like an antisocial weirdo. To paraphrase Pythagoras in the Golden Verses, this makes a triangle, you absolute oxygen bandits. 2. Only some romantic scenes are romantic scenes. As someone who plays a part in publishing Japanese games with strong romantic themes, let me say this. There is no one as ridiculous as a shipper that rejects a beautifully crafted romantic scene because it doesn't suit their ship. Apart from maybe that one poor sod in Munich that puts turn signals on a BMW. See this? It's a young couple, exploring their feelings, under the stars, awkward and nervous. That's framed to be romantic. Or this, a couple on a beach, at sunset, voicing their darkest secrets and offering heartfelt support. That's romantic too. Or this, with the palpable tension. That's sexy. Or this, a young couple reciprocally holding hands on a date. If you saw a couple walking down the street like this, I defy you to tell me you would think they were brother and sister, or friends. If you do think that, you must have bigger problems to deal with, such as working out which end your trousers go on. You're the kind of intellect that would lower the tone of a Love Island episode.
You make me feel like a rainbow.
3.
There can be only one!
Perhaps the most persistent falsehood in FF7 romance discourse is the assumption that Cloud must only love one person, and that all other interpretations are merely coping strategies. This belief is not in the text. It's in your very special need for closure, or your inability to deal with the idea that feelings can be contradictory, overlapping, or worse, messy. But that's not how emotions work, and it's certainly not how FF7 works. This is evidenced by Cloud across a number of canon scenes, or scenes within the opposite girl's roots. He clearly has confused views on who he has feelings for. And that's not surprising. Cloud is a traumatized disaster of a human being. Of course he might love both women in different ways at different times for different reasons. What part of Final Fantasy VII ever gave you the idea that this was a game about clean emotional outcomes? You're trying to get a single answer out of a system specifically designed to produce several. 3. FF7 is not a dating sim. Now let's address the sentence that gets uttered with the confidence of someone who believes licking mirrors clean is a form of self-reflection, or is reading from the official party line of their respective shipping HQ, or has been recently lobotomized. FF7 isn't a dating sim. No, it's not. But the romance certainly is, because FF7's romance does the following. The game tracks affection numerically behind the scenes. Player dialogue choices directly influence romantic outcomes. Scene variants exist solely to reflect relationship status. The player can prioritize one character over another through behavior, and major emotional payoffs, Gold Saucer, Highwind, are conditional rewards.
Bingo!
That is the functional definition of dating sim romance design, even if it's wrapped in JRPG armor. Anyone who fails to see this is a massive walking spam fritter and should be roundly ridiculed as such. Even the iconic Highwind scene, that allegedly decisive moment, has 2 distinct versions. Each have different subtext. And guess what determines which one you get? You. Not the devs, not little baby Jesus. You. Number 4. Aerith's death deletes all romance. There is a belief, somehow widespread but completely god-awful, that Aerith's death means her romance doesn't count. This is both fascinating and mind-numbingly cretinous. The ridiculous assertion that love requires a successful long-term outcome to be valid and tragedy is narratively meaningless. Which is news to every tragic love story ever written and the majority of the greatest authors the human race has ever produced. Aerith and Cloud are, very clearly, a tragic romance. The fact that it ends in death does not invalidate it, it defines it. That's literally how tragedy works. Romeo and Juliet did not fail to be romantic because they died. Wuthering Heights didn't simply become dog-kicking monthly. Titanic did not become the world's worst icebreaker when Jack died, though it was deeply improved. Tragic love stories are popular because they linger, they hurt, they matter. Aerith's relationship with Cloud is frozen in potential, unfinished, unresolved, and permanently haunting. That's why it remains emotionally powerful. She dies at the height of her powers. She has diagnosed Cloud's multiple personality disorder, and Kate Sith has just told the audience that her and Cloud are perfect together. If anything, claiming it isn't real because she dies is not defending narrative logic, it's avoiding feeling sad. And FF7 is a game that at its very core is meant to be a bittersweet experience. Which brings me nicely onto point 5. Zack and Aerith are blissfully happy in the Lifestream together. Now, I could tell you exactly why they are not, but here's a short poem that will do the job. Some will say that Zack and Aerith have a love that is so tender, but after death in rivers of green, Zack is powering your blender. Short version, only Aerith and Sephiroth can maintain their forms in the Lifestream. Others simply merge and return to the planet. So no, they cannot reside together in the Lifestream long term. Aerith's continued presence is rare, purposeful, and deeply lonely. She persists because she must, not because she gets a happily ever after when her ex snuffs it. Besides, do you really want Zack and Aerith together? I mean, really? Is it because you miss dynamite conversations like this?
Hello? That's all I did.
Number 6. The hotter character must be the main love interest. Yes, I've seen this argued unironically. Irony for these people is only what their mothers do to remove creases from their favoured waifu t-shirts. Now, I'm going to say something very controversial here. Ever since 97, Aerith is usually portrayed as the beautiful girl and Tifa the sexy girl. This isn't my opinion in the slightest, as I think both are stunning designs. I argue this is coming very much from the devs themselves. Not in a crude, one is pure, one is slutty way, but in a very deliberate archetypal split that Square has leaned into since 1997. Aerith's appeal is emotional, spiritual, and relational. Marketing leans towards softness, light, flowers, intimacy, and traditional visual femininity. For example, the side saddle when riding. Part appropriate for Aerith's design, part to avoid the nightmare of programming a long skirt in a conventional saddle. Tifa, on the other hand, is framed as sexy. NPCs comment on her body and physicality far more directly.
I just spied the cutest chick. Light pink dress, ribbon in her hair. I think I'm in love, man. Can't let this one get away. Seriously, bro? Well, I spotted a girl with the best physique I've ever seen.
97-98 marketing and dev interviews sexualized her, and Square has never really fully undone that, though they have made some improvements. But ultimately, all this does is add beautiful diversity to the storytelling. What it doesn't do is signal which is more valid just because Tifa's breasts give you funny feelings in your tummy. Number 7. Popularity demonstrates which is correct. One is more popular, so it has to be correct, right? Ah, yes, the logic of the herd. When has mass consensus ever got it wrong, hey? Well, there was witch burning, bloodletting, leaded petrol, asbestos, radium-laced cosmetics, eugenics, phrenology, doctor-recommended cigarettes, conversion therapy, Michael Bay's Transformers 5, lobotomies, widow burning, the continued production of almond Mars bars, domesticated otters, the French, Michael Bay's Transformers 5, and let's not forget, porn sites have 10 times the traffic of the largest global news websites. So yes, by all means, let's base narrative truth on what the internet likes the most. That's never backfired. But in all seriousness, regarding the popularity of ships, take care on judging majority view by online forums, surveys, and quantity of content. All they do is obtain the views from a very specific part of the fanbase. Having seen some of the gameplay data from our own titles and actual protected survey data, the truth may surprise you. Summary. All this can be summarized by the following terrifying statement. There is no romantic canon. I feel there probably is an intended route, there could even be a dev-favoured route, but ultimately nothing has confirmed romantic canonicity, whether in-game or in sequels.
Not a chance.
Don't cry, Yazoo.
Final Fantasy VII is not confused about love, loss, or ambiguity. It is meticulously careful about them. What it refuses to do, deliberately, is declare one emotional experience more real than another, simply because it makes your discourse easier or it fits better with your Tetris view of romance. Which brings us back to the central truth this entire discussion keeps circling. FF7 does not ask you to find the correct romance. It asks you to live with the one you chose and allow others to do the same, without fear of relegation to fanfic or headcanon. Uncomfortable? Yes. Intentional? Absolutely. I've been the deeply unreasonable Clarith. Thank you for watching.